for me. Can you find? All right, Israel. So, most high Christ bless everybody. All right, so all praises to the Most High. We're gonna do something different today. Instead of us having church or class meeting, we're gonna have a family get together. So, and it's gonna be the one y'all been waiting for. It's gonna be full of intervention, and testimonials. We're gonna deal with the lust. Okay, yeah, you sit right in front right here. We're gonna deal, with the lust that a lot of us deal with, that a lot of people deal with, and not just here in house, but that's spread it abroad. But we still have to use the scriptures in doing so. So let's go to the book of Romans, 6th chapter. And tonight we'll be getting input from brothers and sisters. Just kind of turn it up a little bit. All right, so we'll be getting, like I said, we'll be getting input from brothers and sisters, all right? Now, we are commanded by the Lord in Romans, the 6th chapter. So Romans 6 and verse 12, read that.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 6 and verse 12. Let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body.
So whatever sin it is, so we're dealing with the sin of lust. When it rains, rain means win. It's not supposed to win. You're not supposed to let it beat you. Sin, the thought of sin, and all of those things enters into our flesh through spirits. Listening, our eyes, what we call eye candy, ear candy. Sometimes you could get attracted by the sound of somebody's voice. You ever been attracted by the sound of somebody's voice? How they sound over the telephone. It'll get to the point to where it'll win and you'll lose. It'll win. The Lord said you ain't supposed to let it win. Now you ain't supposed to let that thing win. Okay, read the next part. That
ye should obey it in the lust thereof.
That ye should obey it. Are you supposed to obey? You're supposed to obey the person. Testing. Okay. Are you supposed to obey the person that's on the phone? The person says, call me. Call me back. Call me later. I'll see you again. I'll see you later. I'll talk to you later. No, you're not supposed to obey. One mistake is what? That you ended up in that situation on the phone. So let's deal with, I was going to say the single people, but it's not just single people that can end up in the midst of that situation. Married people too. Mainly you men. Your sisters already know that that's a death sentence for you. If you're a married sister and you flirting with sin, you finna be spiritually killed, decapitated, off with your head. You finna get spiritually rejected by the Most High. The man gonna put you out. The man gonna call you every name up under the sun. And you're gonna be wondering, why is he going off on me like that? Why is he calling me B's? And why is he calling me H's? Oh, we don't condone it. And I'm not saying he's got every right to do it. He's just gonna do it on his own. Because if you're a married woman and you're on the phone flirting with sin with another guy, that's gonna vex that man. He's gonna think the worst, whether you're on good terms or bad terms with him. A lot of times people feel that they falling in a bad way and doing something when they fall on bad times. Oh, we've been arguing. We ain't been getting along. Things ain't been right. I ain't been with him. You count on the days. Remember, this is marriage now. You count on the days since you've been with him. The weeks feel like months. The days feel like weeks. The weeks feel like months. And when you're on hard times, it might be, but that doesn't mean that you could go window shopping for a man. Even if it's just the conversation in that you can only go so far. I can only go so far. This is conversation. You know, I'm looking for understanding according to the scriptures. That's forbidden. Okay? Go to 1 Corinthians. We'll hold this Romans 6. It's more there. I'm going to show you why it's forbidden. First Corinthians 13, I believe it is. And 35. 1 Corinthians 14, 35.
Yeah. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 35. And if they would learn anything,
right? If they will learn anything, married women with questions, married women that's being neglected, married women that needs attention, married women, back to the first thing, with questions, needing wanting attention, you still married, having questions, you're on bad terms, what should you do? Well, remember, I'm going to call it straight. We're at 1 Corinthians 14 and 35. 1 Corinthians 14 and 35. See, just because y'all fell out doesn't mean that you got the green light to go and talk to somebody else. You want to talk about scriptures? You're going to have to humble yourself and probably address the situation and the problems that you have with this guy. I'm going to teach you something that the Most High has been teaching me over the last few weeks. I want y'all to really, really pay attention. I'm not going to teach you this. I'm not going to tell you this for you to look at me some type of way. I'm going to teach you and tell you this so that it can help you. I'm talking to sisters, brothers, you can still take notes. I've been doing this. I came in this truth in my early 20s. So I got more years in the truth. I'm in my 50s now. I got more years. So I've been in the truth and doing this, and I'm talking about standing down longer than most of y'all been straight alive. So I got everything to tell you. My years in this world on this earth in the beginning of life was reckless. It was lawless, it without laws. But I had fear of the Most High based upon what I knew. But when he came, from that day forward, people find it hard to believe. From that day forward, I jumped in. And then I never looked back. If it was wrong, I threw it away. If it was wrong, I got rid of it. When I saw it and understood it, I stopped, regardless of how it felt. So most recently, I'm trying to be a better person with myself, with my wife. My expectations are extremely high. I look at everything. I find everything. I find fault in everything. I don't like anything that's not displaced. I'm driving down the street. I'm like, why is trash on the ground? Why these windows on the building not dirty? I'm tripping. I'm like, I just don't like disorder or dysfunctional. But I don't live in a perfect world. And so in order to keep it together, I have to compromise. I told y'all that in the last class, like, you know what? You got to learn to compromise. So with things that irritate and agitate me, I have learned and refreshed my learning and education and understanding to be slow to speak, slow to wrath, and slow to anger. Just don't say nothing. It's not like, okay, I'm going to suffer sin because I can't do that. But you cannot chase people down and be a crab patty about every detail about something that they say or something that they do. Sisters, if you're a crab patty, you know when you find yourself agitated and finna say something smart, a remark. It's times when I found myself, I'm finna comment over something, I say, oh. So when and I close my mouth and I keep it closed, I'm like, okay. That person didn't even know that I was finna say something, but guess what? Whatever it is I was finna say was finna cause a problem. The Bible says, if thou blow the spark. So I was just firing this oxygen. I was finna give it oxygen. I was finna blow it. At different times, I'm like, wait a second. That worked. So if I'm still grasping this at 50 years old, at 25, what are you doing? The roof is on fire. I don't need no water. Let this motherfucker burn. You in the house, you don't even care. You don't even care. Burn, sucking, burn. You letting it burn. You don't even care what you're saying. You got to be able to catch yourself from igniting or just all something dry needs is an ember, a spark. And now, whoosh, you done burnt it up. I don't want it to cost you another 25 years. That's a long time. I've been where you at. Trust me. I didn't come out the womb 50 years old. Yeah, I've been where you at, and you and all of y'all. I've been where y'all at. I didn't always have great hair. I sat right in your seat with your understanding. But I'm trying to reach back and give something to you, because if you, in your anger, pick up that phone and now you start flirting, the person on the other end is the devil. The person on the other end is the devil. That is not a friend, because friends don't tempt friends. Friends don't seduce friends. Friends don't put you in a situation that's compromisable, that can cost you your marriage, your kingdom, your salvation, the kingdom, your relationship with the Most High, everything. Friends don't do that. So that ain't a friend. That ain't even a brother. That's a fornicator. So no sister should be out of character on the other line with somebody because you can't rule your spirit. You're supposed to learn how not to blow that spark, how not to mess up at home, so that you can find the man interested enough to go to him and ask your question too. If you're not blowing the spark, stop going to him and fighting over every little detail that you see or that you think. This pissed me off. You getting pissed. Calm down. You don't have to be pissed. That's a choice. When you make a choice not to be, take a breath. Okay, I ain't gonna let this happen. The other person gonna carry on. They don't even supposed to know that you fighting that thing off. Once you let that go and you realize they cool, go get back cool with them. When I began to do that, I'm like, this works. I'm not having no issues. It works. I'm not having no issues. Wow, let me continue to do this. After so long, I'm like, who been tripping? I've been tripping. Because I have now just taught myself how to control myself. So I'm sharing that with you because it's profitable for you to take it upon yourself, to examine yourself, calm yourself down. And then once you are stronger, you can really realize and say, you know what, I've been tripping. I've been corporate in this thing here. A lot of the sparks been coming, the amber's been sparking and coming from me. So we have 1 Corinthians 14 and 34 of 35. Go ahead.
And if they would learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home.
So you got to ask them questions at home. Sisters, you got to be at home asking them questions to that man. If you can't talk to him, who made it like that? You and him made it like that. So now you can do something about it to where you can make it so that you can talk to him. You're going to have to humble yourself to see you. Do you, those married sisters that's out there, do you just sometimes have a conversation with him, not when y'all arguing, but just like, let's make things better? Because you got to do that to keep yourself from straying away. I'm talking to married sisters. You have to do that to keep yourself from straying away. So married up here. What's that behind Rocky? Oh, that's that sister. Okay. She's married. So you could talk. So do you understand what I'm saying? You have to have that conversation with him to make things better, to keep your mind right there in house. Because if you don't do that and make things well, Satan will come in and try and seduce you to like, I could just go out and do something different then. I don't need this. Somebody else would treat me better. When the fact is, if you tore it from the floor up, you are going to behave how you behave when you get angry anywhere you go, and you are most likely going to get an equal response. Not the opposite, but an equal. And sometimes when we act tore it from the floor up, we want an opposite response. We want somebody to be nice and polite and genuine and caring and loving and stuff like that. So I'm sure that happens, but not all the time. And sometimes you soon forget when you're spoken to nice and polite, caring and loving, when you acting toward. Sometimes you'll forget that. And sometimes if you would carry on until go ahead and bring Satan into the situation. And now Satan is not only has provoked you, but has provoked him. And now y'all warring with each other and saying things that are very hurtful and very harmful. Those things, they, both parties, whoever is the strongest at that time, has got to be spiritual enough to say, hey, this is what we can't do. We can't do this. We're hurting each other. That's not what I want to do. I do it all the time. Or we're hurting each other like this. This is not what I want. I don't want this. And this spirit of caring has got to be in each and every last person, and not just your elder. I can live my life. I can't live yours. And I'm telling you that it works, because it's a death sentence. There's no way out of marriage other than death. And then the Most High is going to hold us to the scriptures and judge us by the scriptures. Even if we close the book and walk away, and then you go have, children, a deep relationship to where the guy is like, he gonna deal with you the way that he gonna deal with you, the way that you like, the Most High still gonna judge you for the guy that you did that with. The mercy and the grace was when you was ignorant, but now you're not ignorant. So now it's required of you to apply the scriptures and walk in the spirit. So questions from a married woman should be asked at home and not through messenger from other brothers in another camp, and you're a married woman, this, that, and the third. Or even other brothers in the congregation, and you're a married woman without your husband. If you got an issue or problem with your husband, then you call a man and say, hey, he needs help. Can you help us? Give him a call, please. And someone should say, well, where is he at? He's over there. He's here. That's how it should be. So that you're not cleaving to another man. Because, women will cleave to men of understanding. And these days, women will cleave to men simply because they quoting and coming out the scriptures, and that's what they want. So your other brothers, be careful with that. Brothers like, yo, well, I was showing her scriptures. We got. It's a program set up for her to learn scriptures. 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hour classes to show her scriptures. So you can rest assured, you can come on up out of that trap of a phone call. So, back to Romans 6. Romans 6 and verse 13.
Neither yield your members as instruments of unrighteousness unto sin.
Neither yield ye your members of unrighteousness unto sin. What you think that's referring to? Well, in this aspect, this is talking about let's deal with our bodies. So no brother or no sister should be using their body and yielding your body. For you women, single women to a man, you men to the woman. Let's go to 1 Peter. Is that 4 by possession of vessel? 1 Thessalonians 4. And 4. First Thessalonians 4 and verse 1.
This is 1 Thessalonians 4 and 1. Furthermore, then we beseech you, brethren, and exhort you by the Lord Yahushua, that as ye have received of us how ye ought to walk and to please God, so you would abound more and more.
So stop. As you look at this precept is telling you, that you ought to walk based upon how we're telling you. So through the Spirit of the Most High, we actually tell brothers and sisters, this is what you should be doing. This is what you shouldn't be doing. So if we tell a brother to leave this woman alone, this is exactly what the brother's supposed to do. If we tell a sister, leave this sister alone, leave this brother alone, sister, leave this brother alone, that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And a lot of people don't understand why we tell you that. As in this precept, it says, so you would abound. So we're telling you that so that the Most High can then make you grow. Because a lot of times, if you would eat a steak with the blood in it, raise your hand. If you would eat the chicken with the blood in it, it's only been cooking for about 3 minutes. Raise your hand. It's not ready. So when we're telling you to leave somebody alone, something is not ready. It might be you or it might be her. So this is testimonials, interventions, and interviews. So this sister that's sitting right up front, I want to interview her for edifying and educational purposes about the struggle pertaining to the single mind and what the single person has got to go through when it pertains to lust, whether it's her past, present, her battles or the battles of others. If she's gonna speak on the behalf of what somebody else might have experienced, but this is the low on the street, or this is what we as young adults in Christ are faced. So um, the intervention part, which it can be excessive, would be a cross reference from someone else. The testimonial end would be, this is somebody, yo, don't, this is not what you want to do. Okay, so everybody get it? Okay. So before I would ask a question, is there anything that you would want to come out and share and say, this is what we deal with as young Hebrews in the truth?
I would think that everybody single deals with, for the most part, something similar to that, if they do deal with it. Me personally, I would have to say that lust doesn't necessarily be an issue for me unless it's if something has to trigger that thought inside my head. And I know prior to me, like when I first came into the truth, one of the biggest things, I wasn't here yet, but one of the biggest things was learning from so many different people. So it was easier to have guys in your DM and throwing you scriptures, and you immediately, I would think women like that do, you immediately like gravitate to that type of stuff where, oh, he got scriptures he knows, so he can teach me. So that's what a lot of single sisters, I would assume, dealt with before in the past or in the present. But
So men in the inbox
yeah,
is rampant, and that's what a lot of sisters, you think that they fall prey to that.
yeah,
That he can teach me, and he's in the inbox.
yeah. I just so happen to have children already when I came into the truth. So I know a lot of people don't, but for me, I think of a little bit deeper than just you throwing scriptures. Because I got two other kids that this man, whoever it is, gonna have to, be around and stuff. So I never was too easy to like fall for that type of stuff. But a lot of guys can be slick with the precepts and make you think a certain type of way, like, dang, he straight know what he talking about. And he can. And so actually something like that actually happened to me before I got here with a brother that I'm pretty sure people know in the body spirit. But I don't know if I should speak on that, but that's kind of like how that happened.
Okay, that's okay. Since you said something,
Yeah.
tell me about that. What happened?
Yeah. So
Do tell. What's the sauce? It's
So
we're gonna make this better than Jada Pickett's. What's that? The red table. Make this better than the red table.
It
What's
was.
the sauce?
So when I first had found out about the General Assembly, I didn't actually know nothing about the General Assembly at first. I came from a different camp and everything, and it was short-lived though. And so I went on Facebook, and I literally was dying to find other Israelites that wasn't from the camp I came from. So they was nowhere to be found, but it just so happened to be a brother who I seen out of everybody on Facebook, nobody else. This was the only brother I seen. I was so amazed that I found another Israelite. I was like amazed. And so I personally actually wrote him and I was like, hey, where do you fellowship at? And blah, blah, blah. And that sparked the conversation. So he ended up telling me he went to 2 camps actually at the time frame. Something other camp, and then he said he fixed it. What he said, say, actually, I go here. And so he would send precepts to me. He was like, at the time, I actually had a boyfriend. So me being in the truth, when I first came into the truth, I actually still had a boyfriend when I got here. So, because like I said, learning from different people, you think that certain things is okay, whatever. Anyway, So when I was talking to him, he was quick, he was on it. And I had never not once thought that like if stuff would go so fast or like I would, try to fall for anybody and like that. I didn't know that was the type of time he was on. But the more precepts he was saying, I'd be all like, hold on, I don't know how to get rid of my boyfriend. He don't want to come to the truth. It was that type of situation. And he was saying everything, like everything that a female person like is in a place where you like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. And somebody is feeding you so many different laws, precepts, and everything. You be like gravitate to that, like, okay, here goes some help type of thing. So it can be innocent, but
So he was everything that you wanted to hear.
For the most part, yeah, it was like a relief because I'm all like, dang, okay, I'm getting some type of direction. That's what made me want to come here. Because I was like, oh, okay, this brother actually, but I was not interested though. He actually was interested in me though. I was interested in coming here. And so, but he at first was trying to tell me that, make sure you come to me first and different stuff like that. And I was like, what? He just gave me, for a typical female in Israel, for my own, like what I see, a lot of females would have failed and have actually failed for this same brother actually. And so.
And a bunch of them have.
Yeah, they have.
Right.
Yeah. And it's sad, unfortunately, but I guess because I thought more deeper into it, like I got kids, I ain't trying to get married. Who are you? Type of situation. We eventually cut ties down the line and stuff like that. As far as like communication goes, but a lot of people in Israel, as far as women, I don't know about brothers, but being in the DM and stuff is like a huge thing that sisters have to ignore. A lot of people don't ignore it though.
Okay, so someone in truth that was here came for her. He's no longer here. He got excommunicated for fornication. So one day this woman shows up, the sister that just spoke, she shows up and she was here and, she was just, I just thought she was just here to show up because people, they show up. And she came back and she came back and she came back. And then sooner or later she had revealed who had taught her or who had told her to come, how she knew about it. So I was like, okay, fine. Well, lo and behold, later I found out that he had promised her, like he was what's his name? Wild E. Coyote. I own a mansion and a yacht. He promised her a ranch in Texas and a Lexus. Or is that, or is that, who was that with the ranks in Texas wanted the shirt? But he did. Didn't he say that?
Yeah, he had he said he was a carpenter or whatever, the contractor, and that he built houses and stuff like that. He got a nice house in Texas that, because he told me he had daughters that they was going to move and he would love if me and my two kids could be in.
But he was a apprentice learning drywall. So, he mixed a lot of lies and everything like that. So he had some pimp in him. So, but listen, people are not what they always cracked up to be. So when we tell you, now this sister is saying, hey, you got to watch out for guys that be in the DM, direct messaging. A lot of you women out there already know that. If you don't deal righteously and listen to what you're being taught and what you're being told, 1 Thessalonians 4:1, it talked about you abounding more and more. You ain't gonna abound. That is the first issue that you're gonna have. Do everybody understand that? You're gonna have a issue with growing. And you'll be wondering, like, why am I not growing? it's because you didn't listen. Second, and we'll hold this 2 Timothy 3. So with the asking of the questions and wanting the questions answered inside of the inbox, yes, how is this carnal side of you going to be washed and clean? You're going to go right back into the emotional state. Because you got to remember, we all had a beginning, one foot out of the world into the truth, and another foot we're trying to pull back all the way into this truth. So when you read 2 Peter chapter 3 and 6, it says of this sort, 1 Timothy 3, 2 Timothy 3. 2 Timothy 3 and 6. It says, of this sort or they which creep into houses. 2 Timothy 3 and 6. So they get into your house by the phone and now try to lead you, try to teach you, and make you captive. Because then they get to the point where they don't want you to talk to anybody but them. They'll start telling you, oh, that elder don't know what he's talking about. We could do this, we could do that. We this and we can do this and we can do that. Now it's you and him. He just met you. But what's the issue with you? To be honest. It says you're silly. It says you're silly. What does silly mean? Let's get the definition. We know silly, it's like playful. It says showing a lack of common sense. I'll take that too. Or judgment, absurd and foolish. It says unintelligent, mindless, brainless, witless, not imprudent, meaning not smart. So if you're showing lack of common sense, in other words, what did the last bad situation teach you? It didn't teach you anything. You put your emotions in it and you got hurt. You had sex a few times and the guy is gone. He used you for your goods. He got your goods. You got the short end of the stick and now he's gone. He promised you the world and gave you nothing. Some sisters get pregnant, some get venereal diseases, and we're going to get into that. Some have miscarriages. Some have all different type of stuff. Some get abused up. And this very same guy that she talking about, this man was a beater. He beat the brakes up off of a woman. I mean, he beat her bad. And that same woman sat in my office crying because I told her, leave this guy alone. No, you don't know him. He don't know you. Y'all don't know each other like that. And that was just for the best interest of them too. Do you remember what she told you, sis? Mm-hmm. What did she tell you?
As far as she was head over heels for that brother for real. Like, nobody tell her nothing. But after they left, I had called to check up on her, and she was like, I'm sorry, you catch me, you caught me at a bad moment. I'm actually about to go see my therapist. I said, why you finna go see a therapist? She said, well, after such and such hit me inside the head with a bottle and stuff like that, I've just been and getting beat on. And she was telling me how she was getting beat on and how he been spitting on her face and doing other things with other females.
So, but wait a second. He was cute. That's what she felt, right? So you a single sister here, you want the cute guy, raise your hand. Come on now, don't be shy. He's cute. You want a cute one? He's fine. You want to find one? You checking that inbox to see if he's there? He gonna put a bottle on your head. Soon as you give in, soon as he get you away from everybody that's here to protect you, you gonna get the bottle, man, or a hammer. He whooped this girl's over and over and over. Had her in therapy. Go ahead though. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he did have her in therapy. She actually, I don't know what she's doing now, but I know the last time I spoke to her, she didn't want nothing to do with the faith at all. She literally told me that he ruined her chance of ever even, considering continuing in the walk. Because I guess what she went through was so tragic that it made her not want to believe that this is something worth believing in.
Romans 2. Let me show you the damage that you do, my man. Let me show you the damage that you do with all this old reckless behavior to somebody. Romans chapter 2 and 24. Romans chapter 2 and 24.
Romans 2:24. For the name of God is blasphemed among the Gentiles through you, as it is written.
Stop. So now let's rearrange this. Because the name of God is really going into the word of the Lord. It's spoken evil amongst those people that truly don't believe. Because those Gentiles were Israelites that was trying to learn Christ. So now that caused her to blaspheme. Oh, I really don't believe the truth no more. So every time you mess with somebody, you reach out there and your little mannish hand or your whore's hand, or you a silly woman loaded up with sins. You touching somebody, they're going to speak evil of this truth. Oh, that ain't the truth. Because if it is the truth, then it was supposed to be working in you. People will actually not believe this truth because of you. And you don't even think so. You just be like, oh, well, I feel some type of way, like I want to get down. And you feel like you want to get down. But this is the truth. The truth is the truth. And you know that it's the truth, right? They're going to say right because they want to get down. But they're not going to believe in that stuff. It's going to be junk and garbage to them. And you're going to put that, embed that into them because of it's not working. And you're supposed to work in you. When they find you, they're supposed to find you swept and garnished and prepared for every good work. You're not supposed to stumble amongst them. You're not supposed to be out in the street burning and lusting and seeking and trying to find and trying to pick up people. That's not what you're supposed to do. We get married. We're men, we get married. You women, you get married. But you get married when you're ready. Some of you, what are you bringing to the table? A bad attitude. That's all you got right now is a bad attitude. And check to check. And you know I'm right. You need more than that to survive. So if you can barely take care of yourself, you don't need another issue. After the thrill is gone, then you're going to be like, when he had created a problem, you're going to be like, I could do bad on my own. Do I really got to do this? Ain't this a mistake? Where is grace at? Where is mercy? See, this is what really happened. Now you want to explain what really happened. When before I couldn't catch you up. I couldn't even catch up with you. Now you want to explain what really happened. Somebody was talking to me today. I said, you know what? To be perfectly honest, when is reaping season? When is reaping season? When are you going to reap what you sowed? When you going to pay for what you done? If you ain't got time to do the time, don't commit the crime. What crime? Sin against God and his laws. Do you ever think about that? When am I going to reap what I sow? Sow means to plant. I put this in the dirt, in the ground. I watered it. I took care of it. I oversaw it. I watched it grow. Now it's got fruit. Am I not supposed to eat it? And that's why sometimes you feel bad. Yeah, you're supposed to eat that. I know it feels bad. Yes, I know you don't like it. Do I care about you? Yes. Do I got love for you? Much love. But you're going to have to eat that one because you did it. And you don't like it. And sometimes it comes in the form of mental vexation, agitation, irritation. You be irritable. Ooh. You be irritated. You just don't like it. So a lot of times it's not a venereal disease. A lot of times it's not a pregnancy. A lot of times it's bad spirits. The Most High will just get up off of you because you're not right. You still got to keep the laws. Oh, well, forget it. I just go back. You finna go die. That's what you finna do. You finna go die. Because you finna bring more destruction down upon you. You finna plant more seeds so that you can reap more. Is what's finna happen. Don't let this happen to where people speak evil of the scriptures because of what we're doing. I'm a reflection of these scriptures. If I'm out and I do something, I got to fight too. They're going to blame the scripts. They're going to say, oh, you in the truth? That's what it's about, huh? That's what it's about. So, back to 1 Thessalonians 4. In verse 2, I had somebody to, kind of ask me about, I'm not surprised, but I guess a little bit I am. People actually listen. They listen in the classes. And they come back and they ask me about certain things that I say, the experiences and things like that. Like, me remembering quite a bit, like the certain things that you was taught, because I heard somebody say, hey, what you said that when your elders had taught you that you had listened to everything and how did you remember everything and things like that. So now, 1 Thessalonians 4:2, read that.
1 Thessalonians 4:2. For you know what commandments we gave you.
For you know what commandments we gave you. For you know what commandments we gave you. So of course, I know what I tell you. So I know what you walking around with. You ain't supposed to be a forgetful hero. It don't change 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. What you supposed to do, what you not supposed to do. who you supposed to do, who you. This ain't the world. This ain't the streets. We're not hookers. We're not players. We're not playboys. We're not whoremongers. Every man in here is trying to get married. In order for that to happen, you must spiritually grow the correct type of way. The first thing you're going to need some money. That's the first thing you're gonna need some money. You ain't got no money, what you get an erection for? For what? For what? What you gonna do with that? Shit, you can't take care of nobody with that. That's oppression. Shit, don't look at my daughters. Sisters, you know, you tripping. That's the truth. That don't pay bills. That ain't a house. Now you can go for the game, but that ain't no roof over your head. He gonna go one place and sleep someplace else. You gonna go someplace else and sleep someplace else. You gonna let somebody trick you like that? You silly. And we read what that definition is without common sense. Oh, that's love? No, baby, that's not love. That's lust. That's a man without a plan. She have the plan before little man start getting noticed. He should have a plan already that you can see. Not a verbal game. This ain't Dumb and Dumber. IOU. Remember Dumb and Dumber? The guy had the IOUs rolled on paper. This is not impossible. That means he has work to do. This is not impossible. Luke 14. And 28.
Luke chapter 14 and verse 28. For which of you intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counted the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it?
Go ahead.
Least haply, after he have laid the foundation and is about to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him,
Go ahead.
saying, This man began to build and was not able to finish.
Mock, tease, or laugh at in a scornful or contemptuous manner. Which of you intending to build a tower for the house? You intend on building a house. What does a house consist of? Yaria?
Furniture.
Okay. What furniture? What else? Tub, toilet. Okay. What does a house consist of, Rocky?
Furniture, stuff like that. Bills, according to
Okay. James, what does a house consist of?
A lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff. Liam, what does a house consist of? Foundation. What does a house consist of? Same thing. Abanya, what does a house consist of? A man and a woman. That's what the house consists of. A man and a woman. So if you want to build a house, now you got to sit down and you got to count the cost. Do I have the finances to take care of this woman? I'm not being mean. I'm being perfectly honest. When my woman come to me and tell me the bills are due, I say 2 letters, okay. The cost of building this woman is going to cost you. It's going to cost you. Please ask us 29. And 21.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 29 and 21. The chief thing for life is water and bread and clothing.
Stop. So every brother has this: water, bread, and clothing. You say, oh, I got this. Get clothes on my back and I got something to eat. Read the next part.
And house.
Stop. And a house. So those things gotta be willing, gotta have that. When we put it the other way first, we get the woman, and then we try and get someplace to take this woman, we struggle. How many people in here, by a show of hands, have seen people with their woman in the street struggling? Yeah, you see, that's almost everybody. She elected to be with him. Why? Let's just make it in our favor. We should know, in all honesty, it could have went various different ways. A lot of times, sisters elect to be with brothers, and they know that they on Skid Row, that they on hard times already. Skid Row is hard time. He's on somebody's couch. A lot of times these romances start through lust by a conversation. Then next thing you know, he's trying to get a job. You're already involved with him. You had sex with him 2-3 times. You involved with him at this point. Where you stay? I be at my homeboy place. Sometimes I be at my sister's place. Just hit my phone. That's how the world is. Like, oh, okay. Then you really find out that he don't have a place to stay. That's why he's here and there. So when you call it out, then he, somebody that's, nothing about them, they got a bad temperament, they could fly off the handle. Not so much as hit you, but just be upset and go off. You're not supposed to earn your man and learn your man at the same time. That's not how it goes. Y'all might think that is eerie, and it is backwards to fellowship and get to know one another, and then the brother ends up you marrying that brother. You know him. You've been seeing him. He's developed right in front of you. He shined like the sun right in front of you. This is a proven person right in front of you. For the life. Why would you just embrace a stranger? I'm puzzled. You just cannot, if it's not ready, you don't go after one another and they're not ready. Some people are interested in others, they too young. Some people they too spiritually too young. That's that carnal lust that's burning inside of you. Financially unable, mentally unstable, things like that. So I want to go back and then we're gonna, change it up. Since you kind of said something about triggers. Remember?
Yeah.
Okay. So back to 1 Thessalonians 4 and 3. Read that.
1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and 3. For this is the will of God.
Go ahead.
Even your sanctification.
Even your sanctification. So listen to the definition of sanctification. It says an action or making or declaring something holy. The action of making or declaring something holy. For you to be holy. This is the will of God, even making you holy. Go ahead.
That ye should abstain from fornication.
That you should abstain from unlawful sexual acts or touching. Unlawful sexual acts of touching. To be groped is an act of fornication. To be kissed is an act of fornication. All right? So you have to declare yourself holy unto God the Most High for the promising of the purpose of your future. As a man, there are cases in Israel to where people are touching each other and sexing each other, and they're calling themselves friends. That's an injustice, and that's going to be judged by God the Most High. I'm not saying that that's happening here, but I know cases where that is happening in this nation. This is not the only assembly I deal with. I know a lot of different people, and I'm telling you that it happens. It's not supposed to be. If you're a man and you're having sex with a woman, but that woman is saving herself for marriage, what part about her is on reserve? None. So what justice is that when she deceives a guy that really starts to be interested in her? So she'll be laying down with, when I say you, I'm not saying anybody in particular. She'll be laying down with you, but somebody else, she's making them work for it. In conversation, in action, spending money, He's coming to see her. He's taking her out. He's putting in work. He's putting in time. He's going over scriptures. But you, she's just giving her cookies clean away because her flesh has no defense. What righteousness is in that for her to deal with you like that? That's not righteous at all. So she's wrong. So sisters, you can't do that. You cannot be having sex with a man and this guy is just my friend, this, that, and the third. Yeah, we know we shouldn't be doing that. We're not married. I'm gonna get married. You're gonna get burned by God, is what's gonna happen. The Most High is gonna reject you. I don't want to see that happen. The scriptures talk about fleeing fornication. You're supposed to stop that, and you're not supposed to go into any conversation with any man at all, because it's just going to trigger your that lust, just like pollen triggers the hay fever and your allergies, and grass triggers your allergies, and whatever triggers you that you might have. Well, guess what? Going into conversations with this guy and that guy and that guy is going to trigger that lust spirit that you're trying to repent of after you confess that, you know what, I committed the act of fornication and I'm sorry for that, and now I'm trying to get myself together. Well, why go in the way when you must stumble? You stumble over those things. So if you don't altogether repent from the heart and allow the Most High to take that spirit away from you, Christ said, now you are clean through the word which I've spoken unto you. If you don't, like it says, you know what commandment we gave you. If you don't, by Christ, if you don't accept this and go with this, you're going to find yourself being judged very severely by the Most High. It's nothing that we could do as men, but it's everything that the Most High do. And you will know because the Most High will take his spirit according to Wisdom of Solomon, the 1st chapter. And to feel something, you'll constantly be needing preaching, because you're trying to feel something. It has to change. That's not right. So you brothers, what if somebody is doing the woman like that you interested in? You yourself got lust demons, and you interested in a woman, but what you really don't know is somebody is busting her out, and she's not telling you, she's keeping secrets. You're never thinking that what you sow and you reaping at the same time. Wickedness. So when you finally get together, all you do is just a show of madness. It was love at first sight. Lust. But then after that, it goes all downhill, and you'd be wondering why. That's because these people didn't deal right. So 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, it says that you should abstain from fornication. Verse 4.
That every one of you should know how to possess his vessel in sanctification and honor.
You should know how to possess your private part in separation, and then have some respect for it. You can't just be out giving it away, letting somebody touch it, thinking about somebody else, and visualizing all these different things. You can't go into that. All right. So before I let this sister go, it was something that she was saying, and I think that is helpful for the body, and I want us to listen very closely to it. She said it's certain things that triggers her emotionally. And so when it triggers her emotionally, like she'll be doing fine. And then all of a sudden, she's got thoughts that now she's got to fight off. And it's not just her, it may be some of us. So go ahead, what is it?
Typically I could just be like just having a regular day, but sometimes if I see certain things, like physically see certain things, like I don't know, a brother or a sister just flirting or whatever it is, or kind of like too touchy feely, or just kind of make you look a certain way towards like, what are they doing type thing. It kind of puts my mind in a state of like, dang, okay, so obviously these people like each other. Obviously these people like each other. Is it gonna be any hope for me one day when it's time for me to get married? Or like if I have to fight off thoughts of not thinking what they do is okay, even though they not supposed to be doing it, I still have to fight off thoughts like I don't want that to be me, like in that position of like battling lust and stuff. But of course, I still have to fight off Satan and be like, dang, will people like me and stuff like that? Will I get a husband one day? Or thoughts like that. But it's not an issue unless I see it and something triggers that thought process.
Leviticus 19 and 14. So do we understand what she just said? Okay, Jazz, what did she say?
She said that when she sees certain things, it triggers her emotions.
Kind of talk loud.
She said that when she sees certain things, like for example, flirtation going on when they're not supposed to be doing it, it triggers her emotions and it gets her thinking and those things will be reminded.
Exactly. So Leviticus 19 and 14, read that.
This is Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 14. Thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but thou shalt fear thy God. I am the Lord.
So now let's read it again. Thou shalt not put a stumbling block before the blind. What does that mean? That means somebody don't see something, and the things that we're doing is put a stumbling block before them. So, not saying that she's blind, but your actions now become a trip hazard to her. She's tripping over your actions. So if she's seeing your flirtatious ways, this is a brother that likes this sister, you're single. This is a sister that likes that brother, you're single, they're single. Now, should you be flirting with each other? The answer is no. Why you window shopping? You can't buy it. First and foremost, shut me up to where I can't, it's nothing I can say. Get some money to provide and be able to come out the scriptures, being an example, leading and speaking and teaching your people. That way I'm going to be comfortable and say, you know what? You're going to be able to teach at home and not have me to teach your woman. You should be able to do that. That's right. You should be able to do that. And I got nothing to say. What can I say? But if there's people and you're flirting and she's seeing that, because she expects to see you fighting the fight that she's fighting. And she's like, wait a second now, I need somebody to flirt with. Does anybody want me? Is what she's feeling. Is that how we should make one another feel? The answer is not at all. Because first and foremost, there should be no flirtation. You should be able to rule your spirit. You got eyes to see and ears to hear. Hey. But you should also have power and rulership over your spirit. Me as a man, I see women all the time. I'm not expressing to that woman, I like these women. I'm going about my business. You have to have the strength to cast that thing down and not go after your appetite. No, don't feed your lust. There's not a man alive that doesn't see a beautiful woman and say that woman's got beauty. Him seeing her 100 times doesn't tell him go after her now. Oh, you see her a lot, go after her now. That's not an invitation to go after her. Maybe y'all just taking care of business in the same place, brother, but that doesn't mean go after her. That is creating a stumbling block. She said, for her, she's like, oh, if they're doing it, then why can't I do it? And if you're not supposed to be doing it, then that makes that behavior what? It makes that behavior wicked. Proverbs 23:17.
Proverbs chapter 23, verse 17. Let not thine heart envy sinners.
Right. Let not thy heart envy sinners. So when you see that as a person, says, do you be like, this is not what they supposed to be doing?
Yeah, I do.
So then if you know that, then you are not supposed to be desirous. Like, well, I wish I had somebody to chuckle up with me like that. Because what's going to happen if they move forward? They're going to bear a cost that it pays for moving forward untimely. Even though both of them is following Christ. The Most High said no, so guess what they're going to do? They're going to have to bear each other's burdens, things that they haven't put off yet. You understand that? So if he's got problems, those problems become whose problems now? Hers. That's right. And if she's got problems, those problems become who? His. When we don't want no problems. Okay, go ahead and finish. Yeah. You need it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Zephaniah 1. So remember the precept we read in Leviticus 19, that's a law, not to be a stumbling block. Right? But like the sister saying she sees this type of behavior, we can't feel like, well, you can't control what I do, I can do what I want. So if you being a stumbling block, don't think that the Most High don't see it and that it's going to go for naught. So this is Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse, I start at 1. It says, the word of the Lord which came unto Zephaniah, the son of Cushi, the son of Gedaliah, the son of Amariah, the son of Hilkiah, in the days of Josiah, son of Ammon, king of Judah. I will utterly consume all things from off the land, said the Lord. So now the Most High, through Zephaniah, is seeing a lot of wickedness going on. And he's saying he's going to utterly consume a behavior. Because he ain't going to consume the plants and the animals. They doing what they're supposed to do. So he's going to consume people, right? But the people are presenting a certain type of behavior. And that's what the Most High is saying he's going to get rid of. Verse 3, I will consume man and beast. I will consume the fowls of heaven and the fishes of the sea and the stumbling blocks with the wicked. So if you being a stumbling block, the Most High said he's going to consume you. So don't be like, well, I can do what I want. This person shouldn't be tripping. They should be stronger. If you got that mindset and you're going to continue to flirt, you're going to continue to do what you want and be like, oh, well.
Oh, or mind your business.
Yep. The Most High
you shouldn't be looking.
Yep.
That's wicked. You shouldn't be looking. It's not your business. What I do ain't your business. That ain't affecting you. Damn, girl. What? You do too much. That's you. You gonna get it. I'm
He
sorry.
says
go
the
ahead.
stumbling blocks with the wicked, and I will cut off man from off the land, said the Lord. So you're not gonna go unpunished. So yeah, I just want to say.
1 Corinthians 7. Listen to Paul give some advice. Listen to Paul give some advice from his experience inside, along with the law, along with Christ. It's both of them, brother. Interviews and interventions, because people can intervene in and chime in. Okay. So listen to what I said. Listen to Paul give some advice from experience, but he cannot make void the law of Christ, is what he's saying. So it's 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and 24. Read that.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 24. Brethren, let every man wherein he is called, therein abide with God.
So every man abide how he is called. So in other words, accept the call. Okay. When you jump down to 27, which we don't, that's the understanding to what he's talking about. If you're single, accept being single. If you're married, accept being married and work on that. Okay. Now, concerning virgins, I have no commandment of the Lord, yet I give my judgment. He said, this is what I understand. As one that have obtained mercy of the Lord, to be faithful. He said, faithful, and I'm going to tell you from experience what's right. I suppose, therefore, that this is good for the present distress. For the situations that I'm dealing with, this is why I'm saying it. I say that it's good for a man to be so. I'm telling men to be so because I see how things are. Are thou bound unto a wife? Seek not to be loosed. Are thou loosed from a wife? Seek not a wife. But people have an issue and a problem with that. Now, remember, he's still carrying on, responding to a letter from 1 Corinthians, the 5th chapter, which mentioned fornication and burned so rapid in a man to where he defiled his father's bed, broke the relationship with his father. The father would be like, man, you terrible. You no son to me, man. He did that. Defiled the woman. Now nobody can be with her. And now her chances, she threw the kingdom away. So people need to chill, is what he's saying. You need to focus on the ministry. Seek not a wife. But most people don't do that. That's their main priority, marriage. And when I say things like, you need money, you need a house, you need this, you need that, you think it's impossible? It's not impossible. You just have to wait on the Lord. The Most High knows how to bless you. He knows how to patch those bags up to where he's not blowing upon your money. If you have issues with lust, get married. No, that's not the answer. If you have issues with lust, get rid of lust. Because you're just trying to consume what you think and what you feel on someone else. Lust is a demon. It's a bad spirit. It's a demon that wants to deal with anything. A piece of plastic, a piece of rubber, the toilet. Brothers will ejaculate over the damn toilet. Excuse my language. Lust is lust, brother. Lust is not marriage. Lust is nasty. It's not spiritual. So marriage is not the solution. That's not the answer. A person should be sober and clear-minded pertaining to marriage. Marriage is a responsibility. The duty and the duty, like marriage, is almost a job. It's a necessity. The Most High awards one another for His purpose for this work in this ministry first and foremost, not so that you can extract your lust and your desire out on one another. Because the same lust, that same spirit of lust is going to be there after the ejaculation. You're going to go back to the same video. You're going to look at the same booties. You're going to look at the same biceps and all chest and back. And you're going to be looking for the same color. And some people, when you have the spirit of lust, you have a variety. Your taste buds is variety. It's a variety of flavors, man. Like Baskin Robbins. It's wild and it's out there. So to try and deceive someone saying, oh, I could just deal with this one person. Hey, only God knows what can tame that. First, you got to rebuke that and get that up off of you by understanding, what is the payment for continuing in that, and then fearing the Most High God by saying the things that happened to me before, because each and every last one of us in here has been judged by lust. Been judged by lust. You've been burned by the flame thereof. Things that you didn't like has happened unto you. Do you want more? Do you want worse? So if you don't want no more, then get rid of it. Don't bring somebody in and say, oh, I'm finna just do my will on you. You're going to be my little freakazoid. It's going to be me and you. I'm going to do whatever you want. You're going to do whatever I want. That ain't the solution. That ain't the answer. Because lust ain't going to stop with that person. And that's the reason why you got guys talking about, oh, I want another wife. I want another one and another one. Because lust is still present. When lust ain't present, he ain't thinking about that. He understands the job and the responsibility of the Most High in Christ, the work. It would take the Most High to then turn his mind and say, you can help me with this. We'll be a good team with that. So you brothers out there thinking about a woman, where's her fruit? Who has she taught? Who is she teaching? Who is she counseling? Who is she advising? Nobody. And that's what you interested in? You lusting, bro. And you're going to get that word from the Most High. And I ain't saying nothing wrong about sisters, but let them grow. Sisters, where are they fruit? Who are they counseling? Who are they advising? Where's his house? Can he take care of you? You lusted. And you're going to get burned by his flame. And when he's tired of yourself, he might walk away from Christ like, I got this. I did what I want. I'm done. Judas did it. You don't trust somebody here? Somebody there? When somebody was with the Messiah and cut his throat. Hunger. You sillier than I thought then. You trust what you see. I'm bringing it out. Where's the fruit? I ain't talking about the words. Trick with a good rap. That's a song. First Corinthians chapter 7, verse 28. This confuses a bunch of people. But he got to say it because this is how you think, and it's law. But, and if thou married, thou hast not sinned. Boom. A lot of you be like, see, I ain't sinned. It ain't nothing wrong because it says it right there. You know what you do? You go and you take hold on to the law. Say, oh, the law says that, yo, we believe this, that, and the third. You at home straight fighting because you ain't ready. It's written again. Where? In Ecclesiastes chapter 26. When thou hast got a fruitful possession throughout all the field soil. But it's more. If a virgin marries, she have not sinned, nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh. Wait a second. You didn't sin and I'm going to have trouble? Yep. It's not called sin because you're claiming the law. But the law is spiritual. Are you spiritual enough to be in this relationship, to be in this union? Is he spiritual enough? Is he grounded and founded in Christ? Is all his ducks in line? We read the scriptures. Did he first sit down and count the cost? 90% of the men in here straight said that the furniture, damn furniture was the house. The house is the man and the woman. So you run into a man, he said, I think I got to get some furniture. The woman is the house. But before you get the woman, yeah, you got to get the other necessities to help provide and take care of this woman. That's got to come first. It wasn't a trick question. It was an honest question. If we're the house of Israel, that means we're a building. So the Most High preparing the house of Israel, he's preparing his people mentally to act right. He's going to give us everything else. We're not supposed to make moves before we do other stuff. We got to get mentally, spiritually right together first. Such shall have trouble, and you will have trouble while you claiming the law. People be wondering, like, why am I going through this? Why am I having trouble? Because you went ill advised. We told you not to, and you did it. And you claiming the law. Whoa. She know Christ, and she saying she gonna keep the laws, and I'm saying I'm gonna keep the laws. All right. Okay. Trouble. And that's what happens. So we've got to, let's go back to, thank you, fam. Thank you. Pertaining to the trouble aspect, we've got to truly humble ourselves to the point to where we're not reaping the things that we sowed because we had sowed to the flesh. Like, we did everything right. Wouldn't you expect a greater outcome if you did everything right? First Corinthians or Galatians 6. Galatians chapter 6 and verse 7. So I want to go into the testimonial part of it, to where those of us that can speak from experience. And when I say speak from experience, to say, hey, from experience, like I can speak from experience. Also, all I do is speak from experience. Tell on myself. But others to say, hey, this is, you want to be mindful of this, you want to be mindful of that, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that. So we got another person coming. All right, sis. So Shalom. All right. So this sis got married at a young age, and so getting married at a young age, some of the things that you want to expect, certain things that are unexpected, she might want to share with being a young woman that was married and just happened to find out the trouble that Paul spoke about. So you married, but you didn't sin, because marriage is a part of our custom and it's our law. But in marriage, there is trouble. So if it's something that you want to speak to the young sisters to be mindful, to try to avoid, to be conscious wise, this is your opportunity to reach them.
I feel like we all been in school, right? And so, yeah, I know like how, like at the end of the year, when it's time to like go to the next level, or when it's time to graduate, and you got all those assignments that you ain't do in time, and so you trying to hurry up and do your homework and hurry up and do all those assignments, and not only do all of them, but get a good grade in them so that you can pass on to the next level. And it's like you're expected to do good on them. And if you don't do good on them, you can't like pass on to the next grade or pass on to the next level. Being that I got married so young, in my head, I thought like, hey, like, marriage is easy. Like, how hard can it be? Do what you say, cook, clean. That's really like the forefront, and then like behind it is so much more. And so I feel like I gotta play catch up, and I'm expected to be at a certain level right now that I wasn't really ready for. Like, I got all these responsibilities, and I'm expected to know how to do everything. And it's like, if I don't do it, then it's like consequences for everything. So it's definitely not as easy as if you say no, then it's no. If you say stop, then it's stop. Like cook, clean, do like stuff like that. It's definitely much more to it.
Okay, so you saying that is much more to it. As far as marriage,
Mm,
um, is there certain things that you would recommend for sisters in their youth to be spiritually qualified for before entering into that relationship with a man?
yeah.
Because like when you're in your youth, you are actually set in a certain way,
Right,
and the man is set in his way. And so I don't think that women understand that they have to be conformed to the mind state of the man.
right,
Because the scriptures say, "How's our wife after thy mind?" That means that she should actually be trying to seek to please the man. And I don't think that in your youth that young women really understand that at this point you like to choo train, really trying to catch up to, you know, to be in the mindset and the mind state of the man. Remember we watched Coming to America? Everybody watched that, right? Everybody seen that in here? And do you know when he went to pick those women and he had to choose between those women and one of them, he was asking her, well, what do you like? And she was like, whatever you like. And the other one was, you know, she was like, he was like bark. She was barking like a dog and everything, right? And I said, wow, that's the one I would like. And everybody just laughed, right? So as a man, that's exactly what we're look. I don't know. I'm not. I hope I'm not the only one. But you know, if you've got two different minds, you're gonna have friction the whole time. You're gonna have two. You're gonna have friction the whole time. Okay. And I don't think that young women truly understands that to be after the mind of the man. So, would you want to speak on that behalf?
yeah. Like it's hard. It's really hard to like listen, especially like how Shannon said, when you marry, you gotta have like the same mind as your husband. And so if if you got your way of thinking, and then if you marrying young, you gotta think if you don't really know the person that you marrying, you don't know like you don't know their mindset. And so to get into like a union with somebody and then now gotta think just how they think, that's hard. Like if I say one thing is oranges, but he say one thing is apples, it's like no, it's apples. And trust what I'm saying is right because like I'm the man, I'm the husband. You gotta basically like trust in what I'm saying. And so to be able to condition a way that I'm thinking into a whole nother perspective of my husband is hard because it's to me it's hard to just be like, okay, well what you're saying is right because you're saying it. If I'm thinking a totally different way. Um,
So I want you to repeat that. You feel that it's hard that a person can feel that it's hard to understand that what you're saying is right because you're thinking a totally different way.
right.
Okay.
Like if he see it one way and I see it another way, I gotta see it his way because he see it this way, and he like, okay, well, this is how I see it. This is the right way, and so I gotta like condition myself to think like, okay, well, the way he sees it is the way it is, or it's the way that it's supposed to be. So, regardless of, like my take on it, or what I'm thinking about it, I kind of gotta like condition myself to think how he thinks, which is hard to me.
Okay. So do any sisters, do the rest of y'all sisters, do y'all understand what she's saying? Because that is a dilemma. You in a conversation or how certain things is, and you have an opinion. Um, you saying that something is this, you're seeing something. Is it safe to say that maybe that this is maybe a life circumstance, or is it a circumstance, um, maybe an action, something you did or something he did, or
Yeah, like both. It could be either or. Like like just an example. It's not something that like we argue over, and it's probably not something nobody here would have an issue with. But like, if I want to go out and I don't want to wear my head covering, and I'm like, okay, well, I can't have my head covering on. I'm like, why I gotta have my head covering on? If I think like, I shouldn't have to wear my head covering, I'm only gonna be around sisters, and he like, okay, well, your head covering, symbolizes marriage, and at some point in time, you're not just gonna be around all these sisters. You're gonna walk past a male or something like that. I have to be like, okay, well, even though I don't think I should have my head covering, you telling me that I should have my head covering on at all times. Now I gotta be like, okay, well, since you saying it, that's what I gotta do. That's not something we argue about, but I'm just trying to
that's a
use
good
that
example.
as an example.
So do sisters understand that? Is there any sisters in here that feels that they shouldn't be told when to wear their hair covering, especially if he's saying you should have it on all the time? In all honesty, don't be shy. This is not a trick question. Do you understand the question? He like, you better not wear it. Come on. See, listen, in all honesty, you can't do it like that. You gotta know, you gotta learn the truth. You gotta know that, you gotta see that. Hey, I gotta let the truth have free course and flow up in here now. We trying to spare each other. you know. Do you feel that you should be able to have, if you don't want your hair covered on you, like she said, the example is if she wants to go out and she's gonna be with our sisters, she might have her hair done. And she said, well, I'm just with maidens, and why I gotta have the hair cover on? You know, y'all got the bangs done, the fronts, got the bangs done. Take the time, okay. You got the baby hairs showing and stuff. Them sisters, they gotta compliment that. The girl who did your hair, they gotta compliment her. So she get ready to go out the door, and he like, wait a minute, put on brakes. You forgetting something, ain't you? And she like, no, I'll be back. He like, well, hold up. Where's your hair cover? Oh, I got it in my purse. He like, well, okay, well, you need to have it on. He said, well, I'll get it on if I'm gonna end up sending up prayers. I'm just gonna be with the sisters. And he like, wait a second now. Now she's hemmed up. That's a level of control. Sisters, did you know that? Did y'all know that? That's a level of control to where she's saying that now I got to think like he thinks, even though I think something different. Opposite, did you know that? Mm-hmm. Okay. What about you, Jazz?
I mean, I hear what y'all saying. I hear what y'all saying. But I understand that that's.
So you hear it and you understand it, but okay. Did you know that it goes down to something as small as that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. How would you feel about that?
Honestly, if be in a situation right now, I probably didn't like it as much because I do have to wear my hair out, especially like curls and stuff. That's going to be something I have to change about myself.
So now you is hung up at the front door in a conversation that's finna get you mad, and now you ain't in the same spirit. You ain't even in the same spirit. You might not even want to go out because the spirit of flowing and you like, I'm in this sisterhood. I'm finna rock with them. I'm kicking it, and now you're like this. You know, like, dude, I already said ain't tripping off nothing. Ain't trip. I'm finna be with them. And now because of that, you don't even the outfit don't even feel right now, right? You finna mess up a good outfit on a bad mood with your crusty, you know, you might get the and if it depends on how far, depends on if Satan get through into that screen door, you might be making that phone call saying, "Girl, I ain't even coming. Just forget it." Wow. So the control gets like that. Right. So and that's if you young in your youth and you know that you're not ready to give control over like that, you might as well remain unmarried. Because that's is the guy right? Most definitely he's right. He's right. This the married game ain't for a baby. And if you're a babe in your spirit, you ain't ready for that. For somebody to tell you what to do. If you want to go out and rock your fro with sparkles in it, your head back, shit, flip flop, Polly, don't be married. The older sisters can tell you how to be chaste, how to use discretion. Let them deal with that. But you fighting with a man on how he wants you to look when you leave the house, you're going to get that. That head cover to Hebrews is like that ring to peoples in the world. Now, of course, people out here in the streets don't know that wearing your head covered signifies marriage. And sisters, period, wearing their head covers, you wearing your head cover all the time, is just putting you in a position to pray at will. It's like a strap. You stay strapped. Like you strap, sister, you know it. You're gonna put them prayers up. Don't put them prayers on you. I tell people, don't make me pray. Boy, you make me pray. You make me pray about you. Prayers get answered. But so the older sisters, they already know they stay in prayer. So they're gonna always have their head covered already because they're gonna be praying, instead of music, they're praying. Enter into a situation, somebody they always clowning prayer. This person roll rage, you get a prayer. So, but then there are some that are lively, huh? Like Mama J. Little mama not ready. So not being ready, you don't go into a situation and you're not ready to have a man rule over you. That's what Genesis 3:16 is about. Yes.
Can I say something?
In your defense, huh? Say in
No,
my
no, no,
defense.
no.
Okay, go ahead.
So, I mean, sisters can say that they understand, but I hear different stories from married women all the time, and I think it's actually very different when they say, "Oh, we have to do that," like Tony said. And I even had this conversation as of recently where it's like, "Yeah, I can do that," And
Hand this to her.
I was saying, well, yeah, I can do that. I can make myself ready. And then you said you don't want to force yourself to be ready for something that you're not.
I remember that. That's the spirit of lust that says I can get ready. You when you tell the natural part will confess its fault, but then when you have to compromise remember the Bible says the heart is what? This desperately wicked. It's deceitful and desperately wicked. So now they tell you, yeah, I can make myself ready. No, you can't. You cannot at the drop of a dime say, oh, I'll make myself ready.
Right. So I was in.
You know, the thrill goes very fast, and it leaves the aftermath of it leaves the aftermath of the truth. The truth is left behind, and if the truth is a shenanigan, then it comes out. Okay, riff and wrath comes out. Trouble that the scriptures talked about in Corinthians 7 remains. All right, go ahead, though. I'm sorry, speaking to the mic.
So I guess basically I'm just saying that you don't want to have that mindset. Me personally, that mindset is I had that, and I don't want to. You don't want to force yourself for something that you're not ready. Even though you say you can understand, but you really don't unless you're in that position to do so.
Right, and then some people they force themselves, or you have no choice. When you get out there and you have no other choice but to do it, like, okay, you got married young and now you're mother. Tell us about that.
That's hard because, like, he be on my hip like 24/7. Like, I eat, sleep, pee with my son, and that's not like it ain't in the world, or like maybe even in my head. I kind of thought like it would be like a 50-50 thing. Like, I take care of him, dad take care of him, I take care of him, dad take care of him. Like, I always thought like it's gonna be like an even share amount of responsibility with the baby. But like I said, like he with me 24/7, and a lot of things, if I don't do it, it won't get done, and I have no choice like to not do it. So like it's my first kid, and so I didn't have like a choice to kind of like, not know it and then still have a kid and give him off and then still kind of do me and come pick him up when I'm done doing me. It's like, no, I kind of learned quickly like how to take care of the baby.
So life as you knew it is over now. It's just you.
Like, it's a lot of stuff that I just don't do no more because I always got my son right there. Like, if he can't go nowhere, I can't go. Wherever he can't go, I cannot go. If he can't do it, I can't do it. I don't have like a babysitter or like a family member, somebody who can watch him. When I want to go hang out, it's none of that.
So that no more freedom. So every young woman in here that has desires of having sex, because that's what it is. Sex without marriage. You want to people entitle it marriage so that you get the sex part. But for real, you want the sex without marriage. You're gonna get the short end of the stick. Now, the unfortunate part is that she's enduring this, and this has got to get better because this is a brother that's here. So that's got to get better. But from her testimony, she's not free no more. So all of you without a baby, just imagine. She said when I go pee, I gotta go pee with the baby. Do you know what that's like? Do you know what that's like? Not free at all anymore. You gonna grow up real fast. Your lust gonna get you something that you did not expect. When the thrill is gone, it's gonna bring forth the work of the Lord. The Most High is gonna show you to humble yourself. And that person is in the street, you can't even compromise with somebody in the world. They'll be telling you some stuff like, oh, this, it ain't even mine. So what I would do if I was in that case, I would be asking the Lord, Lord, take this spirit from me. I'm going to tell you, like I've told you before, I want you to imagine. A lot of people has been burned by this by not listening. Imagine a field and somebody go and they turn the ground over. It's all chopped up. All chopped up. And then they went through the field and they just threw seeds out. And they walked away. Do you not know that those seeds are going to grow? That's how you are. As a young woman, you are very, very fertile. And men are very, very fertile. They have hundreds, probably thousands of sperm seeds. You are taking a hell of a chance every time you are touched down there by him. It grows. When it grows, Houston, we got a baby. Yeah, we got a baby. She found out at a young age in this truth. And now is attached like they Siamese twins. Y'all know what Siamese, y'all seen, all y'all know what Siamese twins is? That's the ones that are stuck together by the head. Literally. Two heads are stuck together. They permanently or physically joined together. So it's not as easy as it seems to be. It starts off with a love affair, and then a bunch of work comes in, right? A bunch of work. So any last advice you want to give before you go?
Like if y'all struggling with something right now, if you rush into getting married, like it's not gonna go away. Like for example, if you struggle with like being so angry, when you get married, it's like the struggle is only gonna be so much more heightened. Or if you struggle with like backbiting, when you get married, is the struggle not gonna go away? So if you don't got like all your all your stuff figured out, if you still struggling with like little things, don't get married, because it's like not gonna go away, and it's gonna get worse because now you got one other person who you kind of gotta adapt to. And if it's even worse if they struggling with something, then now both y'all just beating heads, or y'all always at odds because y'all didn't give yourself time to like focus on yourself and like grow and learn more. So if you still struggling on the petty stuff, you definitely not ready to get married.
Okay. So in other words, marriage don't fix you. And a lot of times you might think that it will do. Oh, I ain't gonna be like that with that person. Yes, you are. She said it's heightened. because that person is going to really do certain things that's going to make it come out of you often. And then it's going to be lifted up in you. So you have to fix those problems before you get into a relationship with someone else. Can't just take that in the relationship and then just think that love is going to wash it away. That doesn't do that. If that was the case, Israel is a sexual nation, man, which is wicked, but Christ called us an adulterous and wicked generation. Sex doesn't make it better. Hold up. It doesn't make it better. That doesn't calm you down. People be agitated and make bait and be fight and have sex and get up the following day and still disagree, still be on a different page. The only thing that's going to get rid of evil spirits is the scriptures. That's it. Applying the scriptures and doing the work and humbling yourself and proving to the Most High that you're going to do something different and fighting, asking, praying that the Most High is going to do something different with you. You cannot try and use your relationship with another person to change you as a different person. It doesn't work. It's not going to turn out like you think. And no matter how good you think you sexually are, I'm going to do it to him so good, he going to be right. No. Or I'm going to do it to her so good, she going to be right. No. That doesn't work. That person has spirits on them. That person has got to do the work, and the Most High has got to allow that person to release them spirits from them for their behavior to be right. That's the truth. Sex doesn't cleanse a person. Sex doesn't make that person change their mind. It doesn't make that person behave. It never have and it never will. That's deceitful to think that. You're deceived into thinking that. Okay, what is it, Jazz?
A while ago, you mentioned that pertaining to marriage, the man has to want to help the woman. When does that come into play? Like just generally.
The man has got to want to help the woman.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
That's like every day, all day. When you say want to help, if I see that something is going on with me and mine, I want to help. So I've got to wait for a prime opportunity and then start a conversation and say how I want things to be better. That's, is that you? Are you meaning in regard to something like that? Or you mean two people that's not together?
I guess both.
Choose one. Choose your initial intention behind your question.
Okay, so I guess like unmarried. So you said that the man has to want to help the woman, but if they're in sin, then when they get together, their problems will be intensified. I guess I'm confused.
I'm completely lost. A man wants to help a woman, but they're in sin. If they're in sin, why is he even interested? He needs to be trying to get himself together. What woman in here want a man that he already in sin? Raise your hand. Honestly. So.
But do you get my question?
I don't. That's what I'm saying. I'm a little bit confused. But I ask it so I can understand.
So I guess I'm trying to say.
When should somebody come looking for you?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Help me understand.
Because I just remember you mentioned in class that a man has to want to help the woman, like out of sin. So,
He wants to help a woman out of sin, like she's in sin. Are you referring to Isaiah 4:1?
mm,
Okay, well, what are you referring to then?
well, let me get it together, then I ask later, because I don't, it's
Okay.
just something I just want to remember.
So are you saying, it seemed like what she's trying to say, so you saying in a relation, in a marriage or not being in a marriage? So he's, which I think what she said, you said in a marriage.
She's saying not. She just said
What
not.
I'm bringing up what
Okay.
what you said, and she's vice versa going into being single.
Okay.
In a marriage, say the wife is struggling or going through something, she's sinning. The man has to want to help his wife overcome the sin, so he's got to do the work. So now she's saying, can that be? Are you saying can it be looked at like that? Sin, like a brother should be able or want to help a sister that's in sin.
Yeah.
But so, and that's the question he asks. What brother should want? He uses it as a sister. What sister should want a man that's already in sin? You should. So it, and vice versa. What brother wants to hook up with a woman that's in sin only to say, "I'm going to help her with her sins"? You can't look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why he said marriage is not going to fix the problem. You can't say, well, I'm going to hook up with this brother because he's smart, he's intelligent, he knows the scriptures, he'll work out my sin. No, you have to work out your sin before marriage. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't go, we sinning together and we going to figure it out together. That ain't what you read in the scriptures. You know, so it seems like that's what you
Okay. So, So a brother sees a sister and she has some problems. I got it now. We're back in the inbox. Now I'm finna call him a nigga. And I'm finna call you wicked. So,
Not me, personally,
no, not you. This situation. See how the mind is desperately wicked. It's trying to get him back in this box. Trying to get him back talking to you. Titus chapter 2. Let's see if that's his job. Brothers, stay away from the sisters. Yes. Brothers, stay away from the sisters like that. Titus chapter 2, and I'll read it. I'm gonna hurry up and get there. Titus chapter 2 and verse 3. It says, the aged women, y'all see that? The women, not the men. Down now, verse 4, that they may teach the young women. This is Titus 2 and 4. I read the first part of 3 and the second part of, and the first part of 4. That they may teach the young women to be sober. The precept says wise. So where is it the man, he's going to see the young woman, oh, she's struggling, she's in sin. Hey, sister, I got these precepts, I'm finna teach you. Now, they're gonna be in the midst of some folly called lust. Calling themselves friends. You are friends. But now, you finna be some friends with some ill intentions, some false promises. What if this is not the will of the Most High, but the lust of the flesh? By a show of hands, let's see. I ain't gonna even set us out like that. Because I was gonna say by a show of hands, I'm just gonna prove that point. How many of us has been in conversation with somebody and it came to pass and you're not married to that person? You gotta show. Yeah. She's gonna be like, who the hell was that? Oh, you ready to raise your hand? You ready now, you gotta give a count there. Who was that? Yeah, that was before you. Yeah, right. So you've been in conversation. Listen, if we trust the process, the scriptures say, trust in the Most High with what? With all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. This process right here, this works. Now, if you circumvent this, you're going to end up where? In your emotions. That's where you're going to end up, in your emotions. Having strings tied very tightly that you can't cut. You're going to be like thinking like, oh, I can't do her like that. I just can't do him like that. That ain't nothing wrong with her. Ain't nothing wrong with him. I don't see that. Who's supposed to be teaching you? A person of understanding. They're supposed to be teaching you about your behavior. You know how the scriptures say, prove a friend, right? When you prove a friend, that means that you are constantly with that person. And if it's a person of understanding, and you in Christ, we need friendship, we need the fellowship. Stay with me. We need the fellowship, right? So if we need in the fellowship and we need in the friendship, that means you are wearing their doorsteps out. You are frequently visiting one another, talking with each other, walking with one another, riding with one another, shopping with one another, eating with one another. And you also exposing those faults and that folly with one another. Therefore, that person that you dwelling with is going to eventually start saying, okay, this is the work that needs to be done pertaining to this woman right here, this sister here. This is a young woman, okay. All the time. And then that person is going to be doing the work of the Most High by showing you the scriptures, and you can't be a forgetful hearer. You got to remember the stuff that they're telling you that you're supposed to be doing. And you're supposed to do it. That's who's supposed to show you the scriptures. Not this guy. Because this guy's trying to do one thing. And that's make you think that you're supposed to be a wife to him. Remember Wisdom of Solomon in the 2nd chapter. So they don't mind doing that to you. Leaving a token. Remember the writing that we do in the dirt on the windows?
Such and such was here.
Such and such was here. Yes. You can put that in your belly. Such and such was here. After they've been chattering you up. How many of us been, like your sisters? Somebody been talking to you for quite a while time, and then when it didn't go nowhere, it just dwindled on. They just left because it didn't go nowhere. That happens quite often, I believe. If you had a failed prey and victim to that, they still would have walked off. That's not how we're supposed to do things. So, is there anybody else that have any interventions or any testimonies or something that they might want to speak on? Okay, go ahead.
I want to go to a couple scriptures, but I don't want to be long on the times.
Yeah, you gotta unmuffle yourself.
So, most brothers in here know, me from years ago, and I heard a lot of sisters, their testimony about things that they got to do, they do it for their husband. But Ephesians 5 and Ephesians 5:23. Well, I'm sorry. Ephesians. My point that I'm getting to is 25. But we all know that the head of the woman is the man. And that's why we got examples of women saying, hey, the women that are married, I gotta do this for my husband, I gotta do this, I'm no longer free. But as a man, to the brothers, I would say that our head being Hamashiach, you gotta straight up live to the highest standard of a man that's ever lived on the face of this earth. And if you burn it like wanting to have a woman, it's hard to fill them shoes. And I know that the women are talking about the things they got to do as a man being their head, but you talking about somebody who's perfect. And I mess up. I fall short every day. It's hard, and it's not an easy thing. And this whole class is talking about my relationship and the mistakes that I made over the years, and even this one. And you really don't want to give up, because in Ephesians 5:25 it says, "Husbands, love your wives, even as Yahweh also loved the church and gave himself forward, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word." And that washing is by example. And I'm gonna tell you right now, like, I know that Satan might tempt y'all every day, or however he tempt you, but a woman is a job, just like a man is a job. And then more so, the woman being a job, ruling your spirit, because 1 Thessalonians 4:3, before it was. First Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 3, it says, "For this is the will of God, even in your sanctification, that you should abstain from fornication." Verse 4, that every one of you should know how to possess his vessel in sanctification and honor. And if you don't know how to do that, you're going to end up in a situation where you're not like the Habashah who he waxed strong, his spirit waxed strong. You're going to be trying to get ready for marriage, and then the Most High going to make you feel all of that force while you're trying to get ready for marriage, because you're not going to be ready as a man. I promise you, right? You don't. How many times you sit in the class and hear the lessons, and you get in, when that day comes, all of that Satan gonna be right there to put that to the test. And because you wanted the woman quickly, like Sham said, you gotta provide for them. You gotta get up and go to work. You gotta help her. You gotta teach her. You gotta guide her. You gotta lead her. You gotta be literally Superman. If you feel short of being Superman, if you can't be Superman right now, then, because I'm not Superman, I'm gonna be real. And I hope they know something, looking at me or nothing like that, because I'm not that guy. You know what I'm saying, for real. And it's hard to me myself learning every day. I gotta kill everything about myself every day. And a lot of days I fail every day. And I mess up, and I gotta go straight back to the drawing board and start over the next day. And then in that day, the same day. Marriage is straight up the hardest. This is the hardest battle, for real. So I know that the sisters, talk about the things that they got to do. But y'all brothers, man, a woman is like, it's a possession you get when you're ready. Because if you know how to possess your vessel with honor, then you're able to take her that woman and lead her the right way. And not lead her, and then now you got to be counseled every day or every other day on how to treat your woman, how to respect her, how to talk to her. This is how you're supposed to do it. This is what you're not supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what brothers get told when they jump into a situation. Just like the woman who was silly, you silly too. I'm silly just like the women was silly. Because I was like, oh man, I wanted to go and hurry up and get myself. And now, not regretting, but it's hard work. It's straight up real talk. And you gotta literally be like the house shot, man. You gotta straight up be a perfect man. And the moment you go off, it ain't her fault. It's weak of a man for us to be like, man, but she did this, you blaming the woman. But she this and this shit, she this and that. What did you as a man? That's what Sham going to ask you. But I'm just like for real, like it's everything that Sham breaking out about men and what a man gotta be. I mean, well, dealing with sisters is the same times 10 because the woman is the glory of man. But the man, you gotta live up to a man that was perfect. You gotta be like somebody who straight up gave his life for a whole nation of people. Who then, when people was killing him, was like, Father, forgive him. Like that's something that when a woman do something hard, do something against you, you ain't saying that to them. You ready to straight up do the most I know what. But I just want to tell you, like, it's a straight up hard, it's a job. And I know one part like that ain't no hard job. Because you gotta live up to the perfect man, and you not that, and you ain't that, so don't hop into the situation because you're gonna be straight up ashamed of your actions. I promise you. You're gonna be ashamed of how your performance is as a man, and you come up short and ain't Superman. You ain't the man that you thought you was. And all of the trying to, get your issue off. Once that is over with, now you gotta straight up take care of this woman. Provide for her, teach her, be her example. And just even if you got a good job and you got a good paycheck, and even if you had women in your life before this, you ain't dating. You straight up gotta wait till you have a fruitful possession. You can't, your spirit straight up gotta wax strong because I'm not regretting my situation because the Most High, saw it through and He seen it. But the brothers who ain't got a wife, man, they got a wife. It's good in a sensual way that y'all looking at it. Like, okay, yeah, you got somebody to comfort you, whatever, but you gotta take care of another human. You gotta take care of a person, not just financially. You gotta emotionally walk with this person and be the stability of this person. And you're gonna make mistakes and you're gonna be ashamed of yourself. Because you're gonna come up short. And the Most High gonna be right there when you make a mistake to make you reap exactly what you sowed every time you go off.
And you'll be kind of quick to feel that you are a son of the Most High, not really realizing that that's a daughter of the Most High. And how does people feel about their daughters? I'd be wanting to destroy somebody over mine. And it only the Most High first and foremost, and then secondly prison, because I don't want to just come up to you and point my finger in your face We want to hurt you to where you ain't no more. So the Most High keeps me from behaving like that in prison. But who can chastise the Lord? Nobody. So you deal not right with his daughter, and the Most High, he ain't gonna deal right with you. So you got to think about that. That was a good point about, straight dealing with the mental capacity of the other person. And sometimes we don't be concerned about that. And then people, you even got to watch what you say. There's things that I've never said to my wife, never, because I'm concerned about her mental capacity. Now she, might feel some type of way about my rulership, but that ain't never changing. You got to deal with that. But I ain't never disrespected you or put my hands on you. You can't change what is. What is what is. That's the foundation. That's the DNA. That's the structure of a man. And a lot of times, women, you won't agree with the structure of a man. But if we have got to make sure that we plead with you so that you can understand that it ain't personal, and that brothers, you got to be prepared to do that. You got to be ready to make sure that you plead with the supplication, like, yo, so that she could get an understanding, because women could be very emotional, and then negativity could cast a lot of doubt and insecurities and things like that, especially if there's contention and strife and a lack of concern. And then you got to remember, who's the boss all the time? You're the boss all the time. So by us being the boss all the time, negative thoughts that we call Satan can definitely be working even when you're not around, to feed a negative impact, to try and make her jump over the edge spiritually and be thinking something that she shouldn't be thinking, and feeling some type of way that she shouldn't be feeling, and be prompting her to do something that she shouldn't be doing. And you ain't gonna beg, you don't want to beg, you don't want to plead, you don't want to convince, you're not going to use the art of persuasion, you're not going to go over and beyond. Well, if you don't, that thought process has been working full time. And it has probably did more work than you have. And that's why she'll be convinced or persuaded that you don't care. So you got to give her something to go off of. And, that's speaking from a married point of view. Now, the other, ones that are not married, marriage is honorable. And what we're laying out today is the best case scenario. The best case scenario is to be fruitful, spiritually. And if you don't believe in yourself that you can change and prepare yourself to get right, why should somebody else believe in you? And why should somebody else enter into a forever, never-ending, infinite relationship with some BS? Because that's what you want. Making some excuses by saying, "Oh, you mean I got to do all this? I got to change and be all that just to be with you?" Yeah. Yeah. Are you gonna fight like cats and dogs day and night, grudging? Right now today, people sleeping in the bedroom, others sleeping on the couch. I ain't saying in here, but that happens. Right now today, people like, yo, I want a straight divorce. I want a separation. I want to be gone. I'm done. I'm tired. So I'm trying to save you all of that anguish and heartache and headache and all the illness that comes behind it by saying, just put your mind someplace else. You've been abusing yourself. You've been molested by somebody that was willing to do it. And now it's time to stop. That's what this intervention is. It's time to stop. Stop thinking about it. Put your mind in the book. Put your mind on work. Put your mind on the chores. Take your mind out the gutter. Take your mind out of the music. And start cleaving to the body of Christ and its members. And you'll be cleansed. You'll be purged. And you'll get a release and a relief for a season. And then you start sharpening yourself with the spirit of truth even more and more, and you'll get stronger. The reason why you should not do these things is because this is why we're in captivity. So anytime, I kind of shared something with somebody earlier, which made me say, okay, now it's time for me to do the lust class. They was like, how can I just get over it? How do I get out of it? Coming out of the streets, the Most High took all of that world from me. It wasn't about force, it was about education. When I realized the things that I was doing was the reason why we was oppressed with slavery and captivity, I was done. I said I didn't want to do it no more. Look at the damage that it has turned into. All of you are good people. You are good people. You do a good job. You've been fighting a good fight. Just hold on. It might take a little bit longer. Just hold on. Get yourselves in shape. I'm not trying to make it sound impossible. It's not impossible. It's very possible. And you're almost there because you're here. But the food almost being ready, it still ain't ready. It still ain't ready. So those purge. Oh, that's right. Breathe. Let it out. Waiting to exhale. Exhale. That's right. I know y'all like the back of my hand. Hey, I ain't telling y'all nothing wrong. It's time to shine. Just finish the work that you started. I could go on and on, but start the communion. I could go on and on, but with the corrections and all of that, you're doing a better job than a lot of people that's prostituting, stripping, playboying around. You're trying. And that does count for something. And it means a lot. The Most High recognizes it. I recognize it. What you have to do is you have to finish. You can't get halfway in and then get tired. It doesn't work like that. The scriptures say let patience have what? A perfect work. Y'all got people, y'all got points to prove. You got parents to make proud. Make your parents proud. If you do it and it's wrong, you can't take that person home. That person ain't gonna be nowhere around. And all this hard work that you have put in is gonna be a wash. You're gonna feel like, man, I straight burnt it up. I messed up. This is a complete failure. You're gonna be asking, is the Most High gonna ever straight forgive me? I don't know. So why do that? Just finish. You're this far in. You kind of far in. This far in, just go ahead and finish the work by being patient, getting yourselves together with some of the things that you know that you need to do to get better so that you can be complete. And don't do it because I'm saying I want to get married. Hey, do it for the gospel's sake. Last precept, and this is something that I asked somebody, and I'll ask Luke 2. Luke 2 and 41. I'll start at 40. Luke 2 and 40. It says, and the child grew, so it's talking about Christ, and waxed strong in spirit. So if you're going to pattern yourself after Christ, you should be waxing strong in spirit. You should know whether your spirit is strong or not, because when adversity comes, are you failing or are you winning? Are you giving in? Are you guilty with an explanation? Are you making excuses? Or is your spirit strong to the point to where you enduring and overcoming temptation? Filled with wisdom, you using the scriptures to do it. And the grace of God was upon him. The mercy of the Most High delivering you out of the hands and from all these different circumstances. That's the grace of the Most High. Teaching you and saving you. Verse 41. Now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover. So Christ, they go to the feast. And when he was 12, so he's 12 years old now. Look at how he was at 12 years old. I want you to compare yourself to Christ. Pound for pound. The scriptures say he was in all points tempted just like us, yet without sin. So at 12 years old, he's 12. We should expect him to be 12, making little mistakes, being loud, doing this, that, and the third, ruckish, all of that. But no, he was making a choice. You are older, what's your excuse? When they had fulfilled the days, as they returned, the child tarried behind in Jerusalem, and Joseph and his mother knew not of it. Obviously, they had to have a big camp. They didn't even notice him gone. But they supposing him to have been in the company. When a day's journey, and they sought him among their kinfolks and acquaintance. But when they found him not, they turned back again to Jerusalem, seeking him. Stay with me. And it came to pass that after 3 days, so they looking for him after 3 whole days, they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. So he's 12 years old doing this, going through this. What do you spend your time doing? All they heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers. And when they saw him, they were amazed. I got bread. Thank you. I got bread. Okay. So my question is, listen closely. When people hear you, are they astonished? Are they astonished at your answers, at the questions, at your understanding? If you're a single young person and you're trying to get married, and you compare yourself to a 12-year-old boy, my question to you is, when people hear you, when you sitting amongst them and you talking amongst your peers, are they astonished? We asked earlier, who are you teaching? Who are you counseling? Who are you advising? Where's your fruit? I'm not setting the bar so high. I'm just only showing you where you at as an individual. And if you can't answer none of these things, but the only thing that you got is an erection, we have a problem. The only thing you got is some moist wet behind as a woman, we got a problem. Because I'm bringing out the scriptures on how the mind should be. If you study the scriptures and you apply, the Most High is going to give you a born again spirit to where you're going to be able to do you're going to be able to, this is going to happen. You're going to bear fruit. You're going to grow. You're going to counsel. You're going to advise. You're going to help. You're going to inspire. You're going to be able to exhort. People are going to be astonished at what you say, at your answers and your responses, to how you help them. Oh, I'm not making it up or making it far-fetched or too much. I think if you may not be coming to the realization that this is some spiritual qualifications that you haven't evaluated. While you look at her toes and she see your beard. And that's the only qualification that y'all been tripping off of and checking out. That's got to change. Do the work. So that's it. Okay, y'all share something?
Yeah. So, the second sister, as everybody in here knows, maybe not everybody, that's my wife. And let me just spit it out.
Yeah, uncovered so you kind of muffled.
Let me just, me and her made some wrong choices in how we came together, and only through the grace of the Most High that, we are married in Yahushua. But because of like the decisions that was made, we have a lot of trouble in the flesh, like 1 Corinthians 7. Her being young, and I'm not speaking of age, I'm speaking of spirit. And then, even me myself, I have things that I deal with myself. I battle with, like Lim said, you spoke well, like us as being men in Yahushua, we have a great responsibility when it comes to leading about a woman. And, teaching is key, and I do that, but when you not seeing eye to eye, on a lot of things, and when it's, as you would say, premature, it's not going to be paradise, in the beginning. Going about it, I'm gonna say it was, what I'm saying? Like all the things that made us, a married couple, yeah. And I love them too. The child, my God. But we are growing together and learning each other, every day. So as far as like the singles go, like Shan, like this class was vital. You know what I'm saying? It was very, very, very vital, and because that's what you're gonna go through. I'm saying a little more than what she said because I have to deal with the very things that she was speaking on about having issues as far as like whatever it is, anger, pride, like, things when it comes to the lust of the flesh. Everybody in here have some of their battle pertaining to the lust of the flesh. Let's keep it above. But when you put another person in your room, like your radius, and you ain't got over the things, or not so much say got over, but you like how 2 Corinthians 4 say, you know what I'm saying? As the, you know what I'm saying, as the old man perish, the new man is renewed day by day. So it takes years, it takes day by day and time, a lot of time to even get to know yourself and your Hawashai and be fruitful and let alone being married. So when it happens prematurely, it's gonna be, you're gonna find out there's a lot of things that you didn't expect or you didn't want it to be, it's going to be, all the way down to the submission aspect, like she said, like agreeing, submission, things like that, all the way down to due benevolence, singles. Y'all know what due benevolence is, but y'all don't know what it is because it takes experience to understand really what due benevolence is. It ain't about just sex. It's a spirit. Submission. The man has to submit to the wife in spirit. And me personally, like at times, I struggle with that. Listen to the woman. Do I listen to my wife? Yes, I do. And as everybody in here know, she's one of them, but I have a day one, that's what we say. Everybody know who she is. So I got double trouble because for the way that, things came up, things went about, So I'm fighting daily for, how scriptures say that the Most High, who can judge the Most High servant? The Most High gonna hold his servant up. So I'm fighting daily for the grace and mercy of the Most High to hold my family up because that's what it is. And I got all y'all to help. I got that brother to help. But y'all don't want these problems. The word said y'all don't want this, y'all don't want that smoke. Y'all don't want it. It takes time. It takes time. And don't put yourself in a position to where it don't work out for you. You know how like you see an example that was set and it might not have been the best example. And you think, okay, I can take that chance and it's gonna go like it went for these people. But you find yourself on the other side of the door. Say there's a king deceiver, he destroys. So if you put yourself on the phone with someone and you look because you want the pleasurable aspect of it, and then find out because Satan deceives you, or you're going to miss something. You're going to miss a lot, and now you find yourself being like banished, cast out, because instead of the judgment being one way, you heard, fornication. You heard, well, it's this or it's that. People take that chance with the law all the time and find out, like that movie Life. That judge said life. They was like, what? What you mean life? That's real life. You can't control the consequences. And at first I was just going, the spirit spoke well. The people who was interviewed, the brothers how they dealt, bringing out the examples, and I was just, going, yeah, all praises. But I felt like I had to say something because, I set a bad example with how I became married to the second sister that was over there. know, it was a lot of lies involved, secrets. But due to the grace of the Lord, we are a marriage, but it's a lot of work, it's a struggle. You know, I'm fighting to keep it, solid. You know what I'm saying? Because of the clash, the bumping the heads, us, striving to stay in the spirit, do things right, deal with each other the right way, understand everything. And then the main thing, that dollar sign. That dollar sign. Satan is a deceiver. I told myself, I'm gonna be able to, as you would say, have everything in line. I work hard. I work every day, and I got a good paying job. But 2 households is a beast. You know what I'm saying? And I'm striving right now to make things, put it where it's supposed to be, but I come up short. All the money in third. The Most High, he allowing me to survive, but you ain't got that bread, man. You gonna have a hard time. I have a hard time, and I make good money. It just don't, it don't add up all the time.
So you didn't sit down and count the cost first.
I didn't count it. Let me say that I did count it, so I thought I did. Let me say that I counted it. I ain't counting it. You know what I'm saying?
So you miscounted?
I miscounted. You know what I'm saying? I miscounted. You know what I'm saying? And
we gotta go. So we're gonna go ahead though. I'm gonna let you get it.
I pay my way. I pay my way, even if I'm like, here, don't. I'll be like, yo, here you go. Or give you this on this end. Like, you know how they say, rob Peter to pay Paul, the OGs say that. Man, I'm the king of that. I make sure that it's paid, but it might not be all the way, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna keep talking about myself. I just want y'all to know, that just wait. Y'all got the best going. And I commend y'all because y'all striving, y'all fight. So just be patient and wait. Or you're gonna get something that you don't want. You know what I'm saying? For real.
All right, Matthew 26. Because we have to be back here tomorrow for the new moon feast.
Book of Matthew, chapter 26 and verse 6. Now when Yahushua was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, To what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Yahushua understood it, he said unto them, Why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this that this woman hath done be told for memorial of her. Give all praise to the Most High Yahushua for sending Mary to give comfort to the Lord Christ before his burial and showing a humble and contrite heart for her sins. 1 Corinthians 11, verse 23. For I have received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that the Lord Yahushua, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, Take, eat. This is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. After the same manner also he took the cup, when he had supped, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as oft as ye drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as ye eat this bread and drink of this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he come. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of the bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily, eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world.
All right, so Most High, in the name of Christ, Yahweh Shai, whom the world calls Jesus. Thank you for the food and drink. Amen.
Amen.
This is body was broken for you. This is blood. Okay, y'all. So we'll be back here tomorrow at 6:30. What time does it start getting dark?
7:30.
Okay, so listen, so we'll be here. I'm sure the sisters will start being here before they start cooking, but everybody else, please start showing around 6:30 so that if there's anything that they can use to help assist, and then we'll send up prayers once it's dark and start feasting, okay? There will be no class. So we're gonna stand and face Jerusalem. Okay, Israel?
If every man was just like me, what kind of sanctuary would this be?
The Lord's Prayer, Matthew 6:9. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
The laborer's prayer, Luke 10:2. Therefore said he unto them, the harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. Pray therefore the Lord, the harvest, that he will send forth laborers to his harvest. Bless you, Most High, King of heaven and earth, and all things Most High, in the name of Christ. Send more disciples and teachers to your harvest to gather your people Israel, and send counsel behind your laws to stand before thy people Israel. Give to us strength to break down our lives with thy word. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
The blessing of Israel. Numbers chapter 6:24. Children of Israel, the Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord let his countenance point and give thee peace. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Okay, children of Israel, bless one another. Most High, in the name of Christ, bless you all. Hey, listen, before you all go, begin to watch that movie on Netflix, Between. The name of it is Between. Don't get sidetracked. In the beginning, it's going to seem crazy or goofy or whatever. Watch it.
Netflix?
It's on Netflix. I don't know. Netflix. It's showing you everything that we up against. I am so surprised. I'm tired of just making small clips. You've been seeing the little clips?
Yeah.
Man.
It's called Between.
I don't know why they named it Between, but that's the name of it.
Was that scene when the helicopter's trying to leave and they blew it up?
Dude, they shot it down.
Bruh. Oh,
They tried to leave the quarantine. They shot them down. The people, they put up electric fence. The fence went down. They cut a hole in it. And then they threw a bag out there. They had a landmine field. Say they made outside the fence a landmine. So they just tested it, threw a bag out there, the bag blew up. Man, listen, just like we predicted, just like we're saying that the vaccine, it's in reverse. Instead of the vaccine being the cure, the vaccine is knocking, it's killing. Because it's they trying to control the population. Yeah, man. Watch the movie. Just watch it. I'm finna go back home and finish watching it. Hey. Okay. Yeah.
So is it a true movie? Is it a true movie?
What? Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
I don't know whether it's true or not, but you know, I'm saying it's true. Is they on some crazy stuff.
Okay. But they always saying that they tested it and it's proven to be safe and all that. And now they saying you can't get a job unless you. So it's just a no win situation. They almost,
It is, but see, the scriptures tell you that they gonna. It's called the mark of the beast. That they're gonna put some stuff into the earth to where you ain't gonna be able to buy or sell without it. And so this is an attribute one of it, like just like what the scriptures is saying.
okay.
So you can't buy or sell without it. So you ain't supposed to get it.
So it's a no win.
Right. Yeah, it's set up for you not to win. You ain't gonna win without it. That's the whole objective. The Most High saying don't do it. Don't, they trying to tell you that it's to help you, but it's killing people.
Okay.
So now you ain't supposed to do that. All right, Israelites, Most High, Christ bless.
Okay.
Good night. I'm gonna let y'all go. But I was just getting offline, brother. You cool?
Okay.
Yeah, getting offline right here.